Oh, hey, we're live. Cool. Hi, everybody. Oh, you know what I should do is actually post the link that I should have posted like 5 minutes ago. We got distracted because we were watching Saturday Night Live. There we go. Now you guys are with us. Probably not, but that's okay. We're seeing everything today.
No, we're not.
Damn. All right. Hi, guys. Welcome to another newsletter for This Is Gonna Hurt, a 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons podcast. But if you're here, you probably...
It's been a long day.
We recorded a session last night, and we finished at like 1 in the morning
Yes.
because of poor planning.
Bad planning.
Really bad planning. But yeah, so here we are.
I'm Owen. I'm the DM, which the Patreon people know, because I'm assuming they listen to the podcast.
I hope so.
Listen, if you're a Patreon person and you don't, there's this cool podcast you should check out. It's called This Is Gonna Hurt. It's a 5th edition D&D podcast. But for those of you who just stumbled upon this video in the YouTubes, we have a podcast called This Is Gonna Hurt. It's a 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons podcast. I'm Owen. I'm the DM. This is...
I'm Steven. I play Lorthamar, a moody elf.
Try again.
I'm Steven. I play Brimley, a Clizzard.
Oh, yeah, that's true. A Clizzard. That's a cleric wizard. Yeah.
We come up with fun names over here.
Yeah.
I guess we should start doing stuff, right?
Yeah. I didn't ask what we were doing in this episode, so I'm counting on you to run the show.
Oh, great. Cool. So the last thing that happened in our little podcast...
Let's check.
No, I know. I got it. I checked. I'm ready. I'm
Yeah.
prepared. Yeah. We made our way through that weird water underground thing, floated our way up to the top. We found our old friend Toko. That was unfortunate because then we had to beat him down because he was kind of scary.
Yeah.
He also had like a weird Bane mask type thing on.
He did. That was nailed to his jaw.
Yeah, that's kind of messed up, man.
It's super messed up.
Um,
That's why you don't leave NPCs that you like in the desert to fend for themselves when there's an evil organization always attempting to kill you.
That's a good point. But how about this? Don't hurt Toko? No? Okay.
Toko might be beyond repair at this point.
Great. So I had a question about Toko kind of showing up there.
Sure.
I know you kind of had an outline-ish of the whole podcast adventure.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure you kind of had this thing planned already before we even went to the Tower of the Wind. That was called?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Did you know Toko was gonna wind up here, or was that like did you decide that like that day or the day before or something?
So, I was discussing with my war council. Those are the people not involved in the podcast who know basically everything that's going to happen in the podcast because I talk my ideas out to them as I am an extrovert. And I was saying like, I don't know what to do with Toko. You know, like I feel like maybe he would, come back because he's just like pissed at you guys because you left him. And they were saying, I think like we could twist him even more.
That's messed up, and I need you to stop talking to those people immediately.
Sorry.
All right. How did you decide like how twisted to go? And do you actually know do you have like what happened to him, or is it just kind of like just something messed up happened?
Oh, definitely. I know exactly what happened to him.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to tell you how... I'm not going to tell you what happened.
Right.
You'd have to... I don't even know if you could ask him. You'd have to find out somehow. But
okay.
Earlier today, by the way, I decided to spill some blood. Into a tube.
Ideally, that's where you want
They
it.
caught it in a
Best
pouch.
case scenario, if there's blood leaving your body, it's going into
A tube.
pouch or a
Yeah.
tube. Yeah.
I was stabbed earlier today.
It's pretty brutal. Did they get you with one stabbing, or did it
Always one.
always one? Yeah, I'm not a one and done person.
Hmm.
That's why I don't do it. I was also too underweight until like this year to actually be able to give blood.
I might be slightly overweight, but I think they let it slide because I like doing it.
But anyway, back to the podcast.
Yeah, back to Toko.
So yeah, I know we kind of left him with Trevor, this cool new friend that
Yeah.
Korath has.
That was neat. Let me talk about that for a second.
Yeah,
that was
hit me.
neat because Alex had, talked to me earlier and he said, hey, I can have this paladin mount, and I want him to be this horse, this Clydesdale, this big, meaty horse that could carry Korath.
Sure.
And, basically it was just like, you were in a city, so it wasn't the time,
Right. There was no
I don't
opportune
know.
moment.
It wasn't, horse coming into a city is like, it's like whatever. You want to be like Gandalf, whistling and just, appears in the plains, And so it was actually like a really cool, like I saw the light click in his head and I knew literally like he looked up and I knew he was going to summon Trevor. Because I think in the podcast I was like, I don't know if it got edited out, but I was like, underwater? Like, uh-huh. And he was like, no, I got an idea, And I was like, all right, I got it. This is good. So that was pretty exciting to meet Trevor, if that is his real name.
I feel like it's probably not.
It's not.
Yeah. Also, I know you kind of mentioned it a little bit that you had talked to him about like Trevor's personality. Is the way, because I've know this has happened to you before, that like you'll plan a personality and then when we actually do the podcast, it comes out differently than you planned it.
That one was pretty much, I wanted him to be like, it's funny, Trevor is a mountain spirit encased in flesh. But for whatever reason, Alex wanted him to be a little more like proper,
Okay.
to kind of like
Balance out
Korath, and so he ends up, he wanted him to be kind of this like sophisticated manservant kind of vibe, and I think I've captured that.
Cool. You also mentioned that, actually, I don't even know if it came up yet. But
Sorry, I keep yawning.
there's a point somewhere where I think Craig or you mentioned that everybody has a companion of some sort except for Lorthamar. Does Lorthamar have are there companion plans for Lorthamar?
I don't know how much I want to give away here.
Okay. Well, he's thinking
I
about
want you to
that.
get hyped, so I'm gonna talk about it. Lorthamar does have a companion.
Like already?
Yeah.
But where?
He keeps it on him at all times. And that's not a secret. It's not something that hasn't come up. It's in the podcast, starting at season 2. He has a companion, a thing that seems to have a mind of its own that listens to his instructions.
I really have to pay more attention to Lorthamar. I don't even know what...
It's his rope.
Oh!
He's got this rope that when he tells it to
rope
like
of climbing?
go grab that, it grabs onto something, or it knots, or it does all these things that he wants it to do. So I got thinking, I'm like, there's a sword and a horse and an owl and a rope. And so I'm not saying something is gonna happen with any of that, but maybe there will be a horse, owl, rope, sword adventure. I don't even know what that would look like. Logistically, mechanically, I don't know how that's
None
gonna
of
come out
that,
at all.
yeah.
But
That'd be interesting.
But maybe.
Cool. I'm trying to picture what a rope sounds like.
I mean, I don't know that it can talk. Although, if oops,
You broke it.
I've slayed the beast. If I really did break it, dang. Oh no, there's like a little thingy. whatever.
One mini down.
I mean, I don't know. I thought maybe for like an object that seems to have some kind of mind of its own, like maybe it's not so much that like they put the soul of something into a rope, but maybe like the layers of magic that they created that like cause it to obey instructions have created some kind of like artificial intelligence.
Cool. That's not bad.
You know?
I'm on board with that. I got two quick things that came into my mind that I don't want to forget them. So the first one is we recorded our holiday session yesterday. Our plan is to put that out soon in one big chunk just for you guys to enjoy. One of the questions that we have that we're going to be doing a Twitter poll for, but I guess you guys can get a head start and think about it because this is a serious question. Candy corn, yes or no? Candy corn is awesome.
Candy corn sucks.
As you can see, this is a source of contention among the podcast.
There were two people at the table who were just like adamantly like, candy corn sucks. There were two people at the table who were like, candy corn's awesome. And there was one person who, completely within character, stayed completely neutral, did not have feelings one way or the other.
I'll let you guess who that was. While you're guessing, the other thing I wanted to mention was last weekend we had our first blog post article type thing.
Yeah.
On
I really
Patreon.
liked writing that.
We got a little more information about Captain Tin Toskobble
Toskobble, yeah.
and how he started out. That is currently for the $3 level and higher. To get more information on that, we'll be doing that every other week. And we had a request for some members of the 12 so we can get some more information on those guys. If you guys have more requests on what you'd like to hear about, please let us know. Because we'll run out of material eventually. Maybe. I don't know how much this guy wants to give away. No? Okay. But we can like prioritize. So you guys know what you, or hear about what you'd like to hear about. Instead of just like some random guy in that town that nobody really remembers. But Owen has like a whole backstory for him and he really is excited about it.
Put it this way, there are like 10 cities in Etrune that you don't even know the names to yet.
Right.
Each one of those cities has a history, has a lord.
There's a lot of material.
I don't know most of that yet, but it happens when it needs to happen.
But
I am going to do a 12 Hands of the Monarchy. I'm going to start with one. I'm not going to talk so much about like the origin of the 12 because I'm hoping that you'll find that out more organically as the story goes. But what I decided is I'm going to start with the youngest member of the 12, the one who's been in there the least amount of time. And give you a little bit of this person's backstory. So if you follow the podcast, you should know who the youngest member of the 12 is because we said it in the podcast. But most of you don't pay that much attention. The players don't pay that much attention. So
I actually knew this one.
if you need a hint, then you could go back and you can check the podcast. That was the hint.
Cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's kind of the thing that we're doing because we had to replace the pregame live stream because there really wasn't a good way to do it.
Just didn't work out.
We're happy that this is apparently still working, so we can still do this every month, which I'm pretty excited about. But yeah, so if you're interested in more of that content, the $3 level on Patreon or higher covers that. If you're a Patreon at all, you get access to this live as we're doing it, so you can always write in and ask questions and stuff. This will go out to the general public afterwards, but, you know, get your questions answered while we're here, and you can be like, hey, I know those guys.
By the way, the fact that any of you would pay an extra $2 to learn little facts that aren't in the man continuum blows my mind. I am in no way comparing myself to really great authors, but I'll say that like when I finished the Harry Potter books, I knew that personally I was like, I need more. And I didn't mean necessarily even need more books. I didn't need more storyline. I just wanted to know, just data about the world that she's creating. And so when on Pottermore, when she started putting out articles, you know, more information about this, more information about that, like I'd easy pay way too much money on a monthly subscription to be a part of that, especially if I knew that there was like set dates when they were going to come out. She just does them when she feels like it.
Right.
So the fact that anybody would pay $2 a month for bonus data about the world is super cool.
I still can't believe people listen to us, so that's cool in general.
Yeah, I mean, again, we've talked about our origin story. We're like, all right, we're gonna play D&D anyway. So, and Steve, you have all these microphones. Let's record it. What's the worst that can happen? Somebody listens to it. That's literally how it all went down.
But yeah,
It's crazy.
some other news before we go back to asking questions. I'm just stalling. I'm trying to think of questions right now.
I have something I was thinking about while you're thinking of questions. If we've been trying to talk to other podcasts.
Oh, that's what I was about to say.
Oh,
No, you good. I did the last one.
well, I'm not actually going to talk about the thing that
Okay,
you
cool.
might be talking about. I don't know if it's time to talk about that yet, but we've been talking to other D&D podcasts or trying to contact them to either be guests or just to be like, hey, we exist. Can you listen to us like we listen to you? So if you like us and you also like another D&D podcast, one, tell us the podcast that you like other than us. I mean, we have our own flavor and our own feel. It could be way different than the other ones you listen to, but I'm curious to see, you know, do you like a bunch of podcasts that we listen to and are like, oh, we're all very similar? Or are you going to like, you do like us and then you like something that's like way different? Mm-hmm. So I'm curious. And two, you should like tweet at those other podcasts and be like, hey, I like this other podcast a lot. They're called This Is Gonna Hurt. And you guys should do like a team up. I'm sure they're down. They meaning us. I'm sure we're down.
Right, we are down.
Totally down.
Yeah.
So, not even for like marketing. I just want to hang out with other D&D podcasts. Like I want to. Every group has their own vibe, and I just, you know, we've been doing ours so long. I know our vibe,
Yeah.
and not that that's bad.
How would you describe our vibe?
For me, it's a number thing. Every D&D group breaks down into a percentage, and there's two sections of it. One is epic and one is funny. Mm-hmm. Right? I've talked about before Fellowship of the Ring versus Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Yes.
And so it's a sliding bar that some, you know, a coworker of mine used to play in college, and he said, yeah, you'd probably hate playing with me because they were like 95% Holy Grail. So it was just mostly just like poop jokes the whole time. And just like the dumb, like personally, like when someone names themselves something like a reference to the real world, that's like something silly. Like personally, I don't like that as much as trying to create like an epic name. My coworker made a samurai character that he named Tome Cruze. And, you know, and like that's funny and that's like on the line for me, but like heading in that direction, like that's just not my feel. And so I put us at like 60% Holy Grail, 40% Lord of the Rings.
I'd say that's probably fair.
Which, in my taste, it would be flipped. It'd be 60% Lord of the Rings, 40%
Right.
Holy Grail, but it's close enough that I can
I know we do
continue to DM.
We do annoy this guy sometimes when we get on little tangents and too many references.
The tangents don't bother me as much as...
Or
like,
we interrupt him.
I pick on Alex probably too much, but because it's the biggest one where I was just like ready to like strangle somebody when this like, you know, character wearing demon armor whose mouth is sewn shut and his face is scarred beyond belief and he's got this big like scythe and he's like, I'm here for your, and Korath goes, pants. You know, like again, I'm sorry, Alex, if I'm picking on you too much for that, but you know, and I was like, I could have hit him at that point because I was like, no, this is like the most evil character you've encountered so far, like not pants, like your soul, your blood, something. I don't even remember what I was gonna say at that point.
I like working
Sorry.
that one out. The other thing in line with what he was just saying, we actually are working with another
We're working with
yes
another podcast.
It's under discussion. but it should be a really cool thing. I think one of the hard things about doing stuff with other podcasts is it's like, all right, my character is just going to show up in this other podcast, and it's kind of weird, and like, do we try to explain that, or is it just kind of like, whatever? And then also trying to work out like logistics, if they all play in person, but they live in like Wisconsin or Oregon, and then we're over here.
Or Nevada.
We
Wait.
got
No.
one from
No, 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 no.
Oklahoma.
Nebraska. That's the podcast host. That's where they're from. Nebraska.
And then we'd be like, hey, you want to do something, but set up a tablet and put us on Skype, maybe? I don't know. But
we're mostly in people kind of
yeah,
folk.
I've done like over the face.
alright.
It's okay, but in person's just better, I think, personally.
I think so too. There's a certain anonymity, that might be close to the right word, anonymousness of being just a voice. Like you can kind of get into character more because you don't feel like like if you're gonna be a dwarf, you got you end up moving a little bit, and you don't. Sometimes people feel judged, like if you gotta get into character, but if you're just a voice on a computer, it makes it a little easier to do that. But
That's true.
personally, I'd rather see somebody who's a little shy and get to watch them evolve into being a stupid dwarf. Like I like being like, wow, this person, like, look how they've worked on their role play. I don't know.
Yeah,
I like that.
That's true.
Sorry, I keep cutting you off.
No, it's cool.
Bad friend.
But the one that we're trying to work with now, it's not like a campaign type thing. It's just kind of characters talking. But that sounds really lame. But from the
awesome.
description and like how we're talking about it, it sounds pretty awesome. Once we have confirmed it and everything, we'll let you guys know, because I'm super excited to do something with other people. It should be really cool.
Agreed.
But if, same as he said before, if you know another podcast or, other people, if you happen to know Matt Mercer, just be like, hey, you want to fly out to Long Island? We'll put him up for the night.
I have a couch.
We got a futon. No, you have a couch now.
A couch futon.
You have a couch futon.
Yeah. Couch ton.
Sounds like a transformer.
I was gonna say it sounds like a Star Wars
Yeah.
monster.
Cool. Guess we should go back to the campaign now for a second.
Oh.
I'm out of announcements. You have more announcements?
No.
What's going on in your life, though? What's going on in your D&D life? How's that going? Oh. I thought of something else, though.
Cool.
No, but I want you to go first. What's going on in your D&D life?
Like my actual are you just asking me about like my life
Sure.
or like D&D things other than
Let's go with that one, because I feel like that's
I started playing a
better.
Air Ganassi Stormborn Sorcerer, which is like very on the nose as far as what you picture in your head. Yeah, he's kind of like a moody teenager. He's like 16, and like nothing impresses him pretty much. But he's a treasure hunter, so he's actually like a huge nerd. So he'll be like, yeah, okay, like, yeah, we'll go do that, And then, like, there'll be mentioned dragons, and he'll do that anime thing where he turns to the side, he's like, dragons, that's a level S treasure! And then he, like, be like, yeah, I guess we can go. It's been, like,
It's a fun.
not the
fun
most
little
fun
thing.
character I've played, but, we'll see where he goes. He's
Cool.
gonna fly some days, that's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. It's one of my dreams.
Jack, it's like I'm flying.
The one other thing I thought of really quick is we recorded a session back in July for our podcast part 2. And we're actually starting to make progress towards that goal, which is super cool. So thank you, people who are Patreoning.
Thank you, Patreon people.
Yeah. We have a little under 6 hours of that content already edited and done. There's still like 14 more hours to go.
It's crazy.
And it's taken us like 4 months to get through that. But
He
it's-
says us, it's mostly him.
yeah, that's all me.
Yeah,
That one's me.
that's what I just said.
Yeah. But I've been listening to it, and I'm actually really excited for you guys to hear it.
He's the number one
I
fan.
think it's really funny. But yeah, so I'm excited for that. But back to the campaign. The last thing that happened, I said at the beginning, but this is like the last thing, is we went through a portal into the plane of water. I don't think we've seen many fish.
Yeah, some fish.
Have we? We've seen.
I said that fish dart around.
Oh yeah.
You know, and that just I figured you just
It's just
knew
we know
that
it's there. It's passive.
all the time.
Cool.
There's fish nearby.
I think we have 2 sessions already recorded past that I'm really excited for you guys to hear.
Other than the holiday one.
Other than the holiday one. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're in good shape right now.
Staying ahead of the curve.
Yeah. There's a lot of really cool stuff coming.
He doesn't even know the half of it.
I know. I want you to tell me, but you won't. I can't remember exactly where we left off. I think we met some people.
You're talking about what you know and they don't?
No, like the episode that just came out that they know about. I think we came out, Kelp Forest,
Oh, it's
and
that
then we met
episode.
some dudes.
Some freshwater Ganazi.
Yeah, those guys. We kind of hear a little bit, and they probably haven't heard all of it yet, about the village. But I was kind of curious, how long have these people been living in, like, the first village that we come to? Because it seems like a very small kind of place, and they're kind of far away from things, but they're right next to an elemental portal. So I'm like, it's weird to me.
They actually don't know that that's a portal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, totally unaware. To them, the fact that people that aren't Ganazi sometimes stumble through this area is just total happenstance.
Okay.
The Ganazi, specifically the Ganazi of the water, the elemental plane of water, they're more nomadic in that they'll follow the fish and they'll follow the kelp because they live in the kelp forest and they use kelp for lots of things, clothing, and they eat it, and that's probably all they use it for. And so if they use it, you know, they don't really think like, we should use this slow. They just, you know, they just use it. And if it's gone, they move. They build these domed huts out of the sand, so they can basically any rock,
Oh, cool.
floating chunk of rock in the plane
Right.
of water.
That's neat.
Yeah. These chunks of rock, by the way, because the plane of water is an endless ocean, both down and up. And so these chunks of rock that are here, there were chunks of rock in the plane of air. They're like remnants of some battle, back when the elements first,
Did their thing.
were born from time and space. And, as they were kind of settling into their own pockets, there was some overlap.
Cool.
That's how rocks ended up there from, those are Earth, from,
Yeah.
Earth.
Does that mean when we go to the Earth plane, we're gonna be like tunneling?
Yes.
Gotta get a pickaxe.
A diamond.
That's really all the questions I had. We didn't get a lot of specific questions for this. I also answered some of them on Twitter. I know we got something on Facebook, but we also answered it there. I kind of answered a question for you, but I am gonna ask you about it really quick.
Someone's doing the $5 one?
Yeah, I was gonna get to those in a second.
Whoa.
Somebody asked this on Twitter, and I kind of answered for you, but we can answer for everybody else too. They were asking for DM specifically, when you're planning your adventure, how much do you do on paper versus like on the computer, and what do you like when you're actually DMing too? Like, how do you break that down?
Yeah, so this is mostly true for both when I'm DMing and when I'm playing. I used to be a paper purist. I am not anymore because without sounding like I'm being preachy, in January of this year I got rid of about 90% of my stuff. And so as I've cut down and trying to live a more, the true meaning of like materialist, like actually, using your materials for good, I try not to waste as much paper and resources and stuff. So that's actually the main reason. It's not that I don't like that anymore, but I've use my computer almost for everything now, just because I was using paper and just literally throwing it away or recycling it. But when I first started, I made cards. They were color-coded index cards, and one color was blue was monsters, green was settings, orange was encounters. Was treasure pink or yellow?
Treasure, I think we have some like greenish yellow cards.
Yeah, there's like a neon yellow that was
Yeah.
treasure. I don't remember what pink was offhand, but so I made all these categories, and that was a really cool system. And basically, I've just found a way to do that on my computer.
You know what it was? Neon was like special items, and then the pink I think was like just like the treasure hoards.
The treasure, like the this much gold plus these
Yeah.
items, and then there'd be yellow cards for said items, which I liked because I liked being able to handle that, like hand them like this card that says like you found a black handkerchief,
Right.
and they don't exactly, or I could say you found a black handkerchief, and then as they explore it, instead of it being like you found a this, because then the whole party knows. I liked being able to hand the person this card and they could read it and know, oh, this is the item that I have.
Right.
And if I want to tell the other characters, I can. I liked that. But I don't know. Again, I just
Trying to cut down like
just
waste.
trying to cut down. Like I could tell them, they could type it out on their computers, write it down, the thing they have.
Yeah.
And yeah, so now I'm almost entirely on my Surface. I have OneNote, which lets me make tabs that I color code, and I have a tab for monsters. It's blue, and settings is green. I copied the colors, and then I have pages. I literally have not every monster, but all the monsters I've used so far.
Right.
List I could just click on, and there it is. I do keep a small notebook or like one index card, and I use that one index card for like everything I might write down. I still write down initiatives while we're playing, the HP of the monsters that I have while we're playing, and that's it. I just any things that I want to write down.
Those are things that I actually started using like Excel or Google Sheets for, because I can just type in everybody's initiatives and then you can just sort by the number, so it auto sorts it, and then I can put in like the formulas as people like take HP hits and stuff like that.
I did one encounter, orange. I did encounters, and I wrote kind of everything down, and I wrote the initiative order down in it. But basically, I just had to keep clicking back and forth between
Oh yeah,
monster,
that is a thing.
stat block to that. And so I liked just being able to have, the monsters up on the screen, and then just have this little piece of paper. So
Yeah.
I use, or I have a little notebook that most of the time I forget. But if I have it, I use that. So 99% technology,
Cool.
and then that teeny little bit of paper. But I used to love paper character sheets. I mean, I play a character, so in the part 2 that we want to release when we reach our goal of 100 a month, $100. I'm playing a character in that. Steve is DMing that. We've discussed this before.
Yes. Yeah, we have.
Steve's DMing that. I'm playing a character. I'm playing this tiny little thing. More information on that if the podcast is unlocked. And so I made a teeny tiny little character sheet. So,
And it's adorable.
and it is adorable.
Besides that, I think we can call it for today. Before we leave, we just do want to say a thank you to some people. First up, we have a member of the Dollar Podcast Club, this guy, Jordan. Thank you for joining us. The next step up is the Secret Society. That's the one where you get access to the little background bits of information. No, I'm sorry. That's the Background Brigade, because that makes more sense. But we got Jonathan and JJ in there, so we wanted to thank you guys as well. And then last but not least, we actually got somebody in the $5 reward. They get all the other stuff, plus they're in the Secret Society, which is like a secret Facebook group. You can't find it. If you search it, it won't show up. But if you join at that level, we'll make sure you get in there, and you can kind of interact with us more on Facebook, and we'll answer questions and just kind of share memes and stuff, social media stuff. But that's it. So we just wanted to say, the guy at that level is Trevor, as I said everybody else do. So thank you, Trevor, for being pretty awesome.
I love seeing these names, like they always pop up.
Yeah,
JJ,
it's
Trevor.
a lot of the same
So,
people,
yeah,
which is
guys.
cool. It's nice that you guys like us enough to,
Interact.
hang around. Other than that, I think we are going to go. Peace. So hit this button.